Paul McCartney first saw John Lennon at a church fundraiser in 1957, and he liked what he saw. Eventually they went on to form a songwriting team and the Beatles, which had a profound effect on music worldwide. What was magic about this combination of Paul McCartney and John Lennon? It's that they were different. Paul McCartney wrote melodic songs. John Lennon was more on edge. McCartney excelled at melody. John Lennon was more the lyric. McCartney is left-handed. John Lennon was right-handed. So even when they sat together, they could see the chords reflected on each other as they played together. So the lesson we can learn out of this is that you form a partnership and want to collaborate. Don't look for someone like yourself. Look for someone who's different. Look for that left-handed person if you're right-handed. The second thing that was unique about the Beatles is that they were clear about their roles, particularly leadership. You can tell just by listening to a song whether Paul McCartney had the lead in writing that song or whether John Lennon had the lead. So clarity in roles in terms of not the overall organization, but in terms of pieces of work can be really important. The other thing is, when we think of collaboration, you think of working together. That's not necessarily true. If you look at Paul McCartney said that the song Yesterday came to him in a dream. Both Lennon and McCartney said that they thought of their songs and dreamed up their songs when they were alone. And then they came together to collaborate on how could I make this better. In other words, each one took it as far as they could individually. They used their meetings and their jam sessions to sort of fine-tune and test things. There's going to be conflicts in any collaboration. And there was in the Beatles. But it's also interesting how they handled conflict, and this is where George Harrison comes into the picture. The story goes that it was a very awkward time at EMI Records when they first went to record. And George Martin tried to set them at ease by saying, if there's anything you don't like, then tell me. And he was trying to put the boys at ease. It was George Harrison said, as a matter of fact, I don't like your tie at all. This got a big laugh, and then George Harrison went on to sort of lighten the mood and get them in the mental state where they could record as they naturally sounded. So sometimes you need that third partner who can sort of diffuse the conflict that's natural, or at least take the tension out of the air. So there's 4 things we can learn from the Beatles. One is collaborate with people who are different than you. The second one is make sure you're clear about the roles, and particularly the leadership of the roles. Third, don't be afraid to work alone and then bring it to the group for the collaboration. And lastly, make sure you handle conflict with poise. If you do those things, you probably won't be as successful as the Beatles, but you will have better collaboration.